Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English conversation scenario.
A long flight is not just a journey from point A to point B, but also an opportunity to connect, share, and discover new things about ourselves and the world around us. On this particular flight, two strangers, John and Sarah, meet and begin a casual conversation, turning a simple journey into a chance for them to learn and reflect on work, life, and important values. From the first questions about snacks on the plane to deep discussions about careers, personal growth, and a change in perspective. This conversation is far from ordinary. Each scene will guide you through memorable moments, the anxieties before takeoff, thoughts on work and career, the connection with those around us, and the transformation in how we view life. Follow this journey, where simple conversations can bring great lessons about living, working, and connecting with those you meet along the way. Scene 1. Before takeoff. Conversation with flight attendant.
Hello, sir. How can I assist you today?
Hello. I just wanted to ask about the snacks available on the flight. I heard that this flight offers some special meals. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We offer several special options for our passengers. In addition to the main meals, we have vegetarian options and some Asian-inspired dishes. Would you like to try any of these?
The vegetarian option sounds interesting. I don't usually eat vegetarian, but today I'd like to try something new. It seems like a fun change.
It's great that you want to try something new. Our vegetarian meals are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients, and we're committed to giving you a special culinary experience. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thanks. Honestly, I'm so busy with work that I don't often get a chance to try new foods. But this flight feels like a good opportunity to change things up.
Absolutely. Every flight offers its own unique experiences. Not just related to work but also other fun things. If you need anything else, like drinks or pillows, don't hesitate to ask.
Thanks. I'll remember that. It's also nice talking to you. It makes me feel more at ease before the flight. I'm a bit anxious about my work in the city, but I'm sure everything will be fine.
I'm sure everything will be fine too. Just relax during this flight. And if you need anything, I'll be right here.
Thanks. The vegetarian meal might be something new I need to try. This flight feels more comfortable than most business trips I've had.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope your trip brings you wonderful experiences. If you need anything, just let me know.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Scene 2. Conversation scene between John and the passenger sitting next to him.
Hello. I'm Sarah. This is a long flight, isn't it? Are you traveling for work?
Hello, Sarah. Yes. I'm traveling for work. I'm heading to a conference in the city. How about you?
I'm actually traveling for leisure. I've been wanting to explore some new places. It's nice to take a break every once in a while. You know, I think I'm in need of some time to just relax and enjoy the journey. But work trips like yours seem so busy, don't they?
Yeah. You're right. Work trips can be pretty hectic, especially when there are tight schedules and meetings to attend. But I do enjoy it in a way. It's rewarding to meet new people and learn something new every time. Plus, I always end up seeing something interesting, even on business trips.
That sounds nice. I guess traveling for work gives you a sense of purpose. Right. I tend to go to places with no specific agenda other than to just get away from the daily routine. It's more of a mental break than anything else.
Definitely. I think it's the same for me. In a way. Even though I'm working, I try to take some time to appreciate the place I'm visiting. It's amazing how much you can learn about a place when you're not rushing through everything. For example, I always try to squeeze in a walk or check out a local restaurant after my meetings.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I've heard that the best way to explore a city is to do it like a local. Not just the touristy stuff, but the little hidden gems that only locals know about. Have you ever done that?
Absolutely. A few years ago, I was in a city for a conference, and I decided to stay an extra day. I ended up visiting a local cafe, and the food there was unlike anything I had ever tasted before. It wasn't in any guidebook, but it was definitely the best part of my trip.
Wow. That sounds like a great experience. It's so easy to get caught up in the business part of traveling. But it's those moments of spontaneity that really make the trip memorable.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons I enjoy what I do. Even though it's work, it gives me opportunities to experience something unexpected. Like meeting you today. I wasn't expecting a good conversation on a flight. But here we are.
I'm glad we're having this chat. It's funny how a flight can turn into a small adventure in itself. Right. I think the best part of traveling is the stories you collect along the way.
I agree. And you're right. The best stories often come from the unexpected encounters or the little things that happen along the journey. I'm sure you'll have plenty of great stories to share after your travels.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we'll both find something amazing during our trips. Who knows? Maybe even something small will leave a lasting impression on us.
I'm sure of it. Who knows what's waiting at the other end of the journey? I'm glad we could start this one with a good conversation.
Me too. It's not every day you meet someone so open to chatting. Especially on a flight. Safe travels, John. And I hope your conference goes well.
Thanks, Sarah. I hope you have an amazing time on your trip too. And who knows? Maybe we'll run into each other again in the future.
Scene 3. Plane takes off. Conversation about the feeling of flying.
I always feel a little nervous when the plane takes off. How about you?
Honestly, I do feel a bit of tension too. But after a few minutes, I usually settle in. It's funny how it works. But once I notice everything is stabilizing, I feel more at ease. The first few moments are always the hardest.
Oh, I totally get that. I feel like I'm just not in control of anything when the plane takes off. It's like everything is out of my hands. And I'm just along for the ride. But I try to relax more each time I fly.
Yeah, that's true. The feeling of being completely out of control can be unsettling. But I've learned to focus on the little things that I can control. Like my breathing. Or just looking at the seatbelt sign to see if it's turned off. It helps me calm down.
I've tried deep breathing too. It works for a while. But then I start to feel a little anxious again. I think it's just the whole idea of being so high up, with nothing but the sky and clouds around us. It feels surreal. Like we're floating.
Yeah. It can feel a bit surreal. Like we're disconnected from the ground. I think that's part of the reason it's so unsettling. But I've also realized that flying is one of the safest ways to travel. The technology is incredible. And the crew is well trained to handle everything.
That's true. I try to remind myself of that too. And I guess, as the plane climbs higher, it feels more stable. Like we've reached the part where everything is set for the flight. But still, that initial climb always gets to me.
Definitely. Once we're up in the air, everything smooths out. And I start to feel more relaxed. It's just those few moments of acceleration that throw me off. I think the key is just trusting that the plane will do its job. And so will the pilots.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels this way. Sometimes, I wonder if it's just me being overly anxious about flying. I see some people sleeping before the plane even takes off.
No. You're definitely not alone. A lot of people feel the same way. Especially if they don't fly often. But hey, at least we're not alone up here either. Right? We have each other's company to make this feel a little more normal.
That's true. It's nice to have someone to talk to during this part of the flight. And hey, after the takeoff, we can just relax and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. We've made it past the toughest part. Now we can just sit back, relax, and focus on enjoying the journey ahead.
Scene 4. Conversation between John and the flight attendant while serving food.
Here's the vegetarian meal you requested. Would you like anything else?
Thank you. The meal looks great. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, do you think traveling for work, like I do, helps in personal development?
Absolutely. I think business trips often help people expand their networks and learn new things. Whether it's about different cultures, industries, or even just the way people live in other places. It's a great opportunity for personal growth. But sometimes, these trips can also bring unexpected challenges.
You're right. I do feel like I learn something new on every trip. Whether it's about the business world or just meeting different people with different perspectives. But sometimes, the challenges make me question if it's all worth it.
I understand. It's easy to feel overwhelmed with the amount of work that comes with traveling. But those challenges, even the difficult ones, can often lead to the most growth. They force you to adapt and push your boundaries. It's not always easy, but I believe it's part of the process.
I agree. I think that's what makes business trips different from vacations. They come with a purpose. But they also have their share of stress. It's the kind of stress that pushes you to get better. Even if it's uncomfortable sometimes.
Exactly. And sometimes, the best lessons come from the toughest situations. Like, when you have to solve a problem quickly or manage a difficult situation. That's when you learn what you're truly capable of. It's easy to grow comfortable when everything goes according to plan. But growth happens when things don't go as expected.
That's a good point. I've been on a few trips where nothing went right, missed flights, last-minute changes to the schedule, But those trips turned out to be the most memorable and taught me the most. It's almost like the challenges add a layer of depth to the experience.
Exactly. Those moments can feel frustrating at the time. But looking back, you realize how much they shaped you. I think that's what makes business travel so rewarding in the long run. It's not just about accomplishing tasks. It's about learning to handle the unpredictability of life.
You've definitely got a point. I never thought about it quite like that. I guess I'll have to embrace the unpredictability more. It's just that sometimes it feels like there's so much pressure to perform.
I completely get that. It's normal to feel pressure, especially when you're responsible for big projects or important meetings. But don't forget to give yourself credit for handling it. Every step, no matter how small, is progress. And sometimes, taking a deep breath and giving yourself a moment to reset can make all the difference.
I think I needed to hear that. Sometimes I get so caught up in the deadlines and expectations that I forget to appreciate how far I've come. Maybe I'll try to relax a bit more on this trip and focus on what I can learn rather than just checking things off a list.
That sounds like a great idea. And remember, this flight is the perfect time to take a break. Enjoy your meal. Relax. And know that everything will fall into place.
Thanks for the advice. I'll definitely try to enjoy the moment a bit more.
Scene 5. Dialogue scene. When the plane has a small problem.
Oh. It seems like the plane is having a bit of an issue. Are you feeling worried?
A little concerned. But I trust the crew. They're very professional. I'm sure they'll handle it. No problem.
Yeah. I think so too. Actually, the last time I flew, there was a small issue with the aircraft. But everything got sorted out pretty quickly. It's reassuring to know the crew is well trained for situations like this.
That's good to hear. I try not to panic. But I can't help it sometimes. There's just something about the unknown that makes me a bit anxious. Especially when you're not sure what's happening up there.
I totally get that. The uncertainty makes it worse. Doesn't it? But when you think about it, the technology in modern planes is incredibly advanced. These small glitches usually don't mean much in the grand scheme of things. Plus, we're in good hands.
You're right. I always remind myself that flying is one of the safest ways to travel. It's just that moment when you feel the plane wobble a bit or hear a strange noise. And you start to imagine all sorts of things.
Exactly. The first time it happens, you can't help but feel uneasy. But the more you fly, the more you learn to trust the process. I've had a few flights where there was a bit of turbulence or something unexpected. And each time, the crew has managed it so smoothly that I end up feeling more confident.
It's reassuring to hear you say that. I think sometimes I just need to remind myself that these things are normal and part of the experience. It's not like something bad is going to happen.
Definitely. And I think it's also important to remember that there's a difference between being cautious and being overly worried. As long as we stay calm, the crew and the plane will do their job.
That's a great point. I feel a little more at ease just talking about it with you. It helps to know that I'm not the only one who gets a little nervous about flying.
You're not alone. I think most people feel that way at some point. Even the frequent flyers. The key is just to take a deep breath and trust that the flight will be fine. Plus, it helps when the crew is so calm and reassuring. Right?
Exactly. I feel much better now. It's easy to let anxiety take over. But hearing you talk about it so calmly really puts things in perspective. I think they'll just focus on the destination instead of worrying about the process.
That's the spirit. Once we're back in the air and everything is stable again, it'll be smooth sailing. Just think of how much fun you'll have when you finally get to your destination.
Thanks, John. I feel a lot better. It's funny how a little conversation can make such a difference. I think they'll be able to relax a lot more now.
Anytime. Sarah. I'm sure everything will be fine. And if we hit any more bumps along the way, at least we know we've got a great crew taking care of us.